the ghetto. The ghetto. I loved the show and I just want to talk about it. Spoilers for the season. There is a book about it, so like please don't spoil what happens in season 2 if you know, but like I just want to talk about the show in general. To give a brief summary of the show, we're following our main character Sophie O'Neill as she moves from liberal big city to conservative Texas. She gets entangled with the ladies of the high society there and she gets framed for a murder. And the show is basically her trying to prove her innocence. This show was unexpectedly enjoyable for me because my mom watches anything that's on Netflix. So I usually just passively listen to what she's watching. And then if something's interesting, I'll tune in. And by episode 3, I was hooked onto it. So I just wanted to come here and I just wanted to talk about the show. And like, I'm going to go character by character because I'm not going to do like an in depth per episode analysis. Like, I literally just want to talk shit about Sophie, but then in order to talk shit about Sophie, I have to make sense of like the whole story. So like let's talk about it by characters. Starting with Sophie. She's our main character, and like I have to take a deep breath before talking about her because she was so annoying. I hated her character. My mom and I were calling her everything but a child of God, literally screaming at the screen because she just kept making such stupid life decisions. Like, oh my gosh, okay, let's start from the beginning. So, this show is a little bit political, like the political plot has to do with the storyline, but like, yeah, not really. She's from a liberal city and she moves to Texas because her husband gets like a new job and they're kind of like running away from like issues that they're leaving behind. She was like an addict and she, she's like doing cocaine. She killed somebody while driving under the influence, so this was more like a fresh start for her. Her husband asks her to like cozy up to his boss's wife, who is Margot Banks. And you can just see from the first few episodes that she's very uncomfortable with everything that's going on. She doesn't agree with, the conservative lifestyle. They're very guns, they're very, dog whistles about like minorities and the border, those types of things. But she just loses her morality so easily. And before I start getting nasty, I do want to say in the beginning, she did try and fight back a little bit, and like her husband would like shush her and, try and not rock the boat because obviously it's his boss, he's trying to make a good impression on them, even though he himself doesn't believe in the cause. A lot of her actions in the beginning were to help him, like cozying up to the other ladies, doing things that she was uncomfortable with. But she just lost the plot. She starts a lesbian, she starts a lesbian relationship with her husband's boss's wife. Like, I the levels of depravity and just mess that she's getting herself into. She's like clearly uncomfortable with the relationship in the beginning and she's just like doing things to please people. But like in the end, she's also in it to win it. She literally falls in love with this lady. Like, how do you fall in love with your husband boss's wife? Like, in what world does that make sense to you? Like, you can't control your feelings, but like, come on. She starts going with them to shooting ranges because this is what the ladies do for fun. Apparently, like they shoot stuff, and she gets her own gun. And again, they're very anti all of this stuff. Like they're super liberal people. Like, we don't need to have guns. Like, let's have stricter gun laws. Like, that's the vibe. But obviously, she's like trying to fit in with the ladies, which is also something that like really annoys me. I try and not project, my own feelings onto other people and understand where they're coming from, which is why I mentioned the whole, her husband wants her to cozy up to them. But I think the way she just threw away all her beliefs, like I feel like it didn't take a lot for them to coax her into their lifestyle. Like it was just a little bit of, oh, come on, girl, it's just a little bit of fun, just get a gun, just drink, just cheat on your husband. Like it was so easy for her to fall in these traps. And I think that's what really annoyed me and my mom like the most. It's like she's so easily influenced. Like she had no backbone, especially having her son and knowing that she has all these issues. Like it really pissed me off how her son, like, forget the husband, like I don't care about him. But the fact that her son was not at the front of her mind with all her decisions, like her and her husband have a scene where they have like a huge blow up because he finds out about the gun in the house. And the fact that she didn't consult with her husband. She didn't hide it. She didn't put it in a safe. And her son literally could have gotten a hold of that gun. And it did not cross her mind, like for a moment, how much danger she was putting everyone around her in. Like, oh my gosh, she pissed me off. But anyway, she's like a newbie in the town, and our main antagonist, Margot Banks, frames her for a murder. So that's like basically the plot of the whole show. It was like a who done it, but the who done it was like kind of obvious. And I feel like that was kind of the point of the show. It's like there's a few episodes where you're like, oh my gosh, who did it? But then it becomes clear and someone is framing her. And throughout the show, she's trying to prove her innocence. But yo, guys, like just I'm trying to be kind to her and just think in her shoes. Like, if somebody framed me for a murder, what would I do? But every single action she took would just piss me off again. Like, the way she was confronting people and going about investigating, like she was just too obvious in her actions. She a lot of the time she would sound nuts, and it's because she wouldn't investigate properly. She would just come to a conclusion and then she just goes for it, even to the point of insensitivity. Like the girl who was murdered, she literally goes to her mother and she's like just saying things that are so inappropriate. And it's just like, girl, time and place. Not only that, but she puts herself in danger. She's very isolated. So it's also like kind of like, well, she doesn't really have anyone who's going to have her back and protect her. But there's also certain things that you just don't do. Like, why would you go to a man's house who you suspect of helping someone with a murder by yourself? Like, you don't call anyone, you don't take any protection. And like, oh my gosh, like she just kept making decision after decision that makes you hate her. Like, I know this was based on a book and I wanted to read the book, but I cannot for the life of me read a book where there's like a damn female lead. Like, I don't mind somebody being helpless because in life not everybody is going to be staring and be strong, but there's some things that you can use. Like, use your brain. Like, she just frustrated me so much. We're gonna come back to her, but like, it just pissed me off. I don't even want to speak about her. No, man. I also have to add, in the end, she confesses to her husband that she's been cheating on him again, like in such an inappropriate time. But he leaves, and he leaves her son with, well, their son with her, which I felt like was the wrong decision because he knows she's not a responsible adult. She leaves this baby to go and drink and drive, and she kills someone again. This time she killed him on purpose. But like, she didn't need to kill him. She literally could have just drove away. She's in the right. She had all the cards. She could have contacted the detective. Well, she did. And the detective would have been on her side to try and uncover the truth. But now she has another dead body. Not only does she have another dead body, but she gets rid of it. Like, again, dumb decision after dumb decision anymore. Moving on to her husband, he really needed to divorce her.
Divorce, babe, divorce.
As soon as the whole gun thing came out, she really messed up. And I feel like with everything that we learned prior, the fact that she killed somebody, she had CPS investigating her, like she literally put their family, in so much harm's way. There's so much turmoil because of her. I feel like he really should have divorced her. There were some points where it was like, okay, I kind of felt bad because, he was in a tight situation, but he wasn't really supporting her. And like, she did sound nuts in a few instances, but like, there's certain vows that you take. Like, he just kicked her out of the house. I didn't like that. I understood, like, she put the kids' safety in jeopardy, but like the way he just kind of went about things, like some things I was like, okay, I get where you're coming from, but other times I was like, okay, sir, like this is also kind of your own fault. Like, you need to understand that you were pushing her towards these people. Like, you didn't tell her to cheat, that's her own fault. But also, she didn't want to move. Why would you move to Texas knowing it's a conservative state? You're kind of gonna have to live a different lifestyle. Like, I didn't really, yeah, his character to me was just very, like, I wish he divorced her, but I also understand, like, trying to make things work for the kid. But like, he annoyed me in some instances, but I also kind of understood where he was coming from. Margot Banks, the bad bitch of the show. I loved her character. Loved her character. She was the moment. She was just such a good bad guy. Like, everything that she did was just so believable. I felt like she was such a great villain to the show because the things that she did were just, it made sense. Like, she would never go about conversations in ways that would bring suspicion to her. Like, she would just, say light things like, like, Jill, like, she's been acting weird ever since Abby died. Like, she didn't even like her. So, like, why is she acting like that? Like, knowing that she's the murderer and, like, she's just, like, planting this evidence to, like, make people think, like, something is, like, weird about that. And she had, like, multiple instances where she would do that. Like, the way she would just manipulate everyone around her. Like, ooh, her sleeping with Brad, obviously, like, she's a bad person. I'm not saying like she's great and like she, like, we need to forgive her. Like, absolutely not. She's a horrible person. But that's what I like. Like, she just leaned into it. Like, she's bad and that's just who she is. I also like that we got a little bit of her backstory, seeing her and her brother and the bomb with like her dad, and it made sense to why she was the way that she was. The fact that she was like robbing people when she was younger, that she was an escort, that she stole Jed from his ex-wife. Like, all of that just made sense. Like, she just lived such a messy life, and she did have her moments where she was very seductive, and I understood why everyone was like falling in her trap. Like, personally, like, I felt like the girls were being like a little bit silly, but like, I can understand being in that environment and not having the support of your husband and having this woman, kind of seduce you, and you feel like she understands you, and like, she would really play on people's emotions. She would find their weaknesses and she would play on it so well. Like, oh, I loved her. I loved her. I also like that she didn't die in the end. I feel like season 2 can like really explore it a little more. I do want her to go to jail, justice for Abby, but also I really like her. Yeah, like, I have nothing bad to say about her. Like, that's my queenie, that's my girl. On to Jed Banks. Obviously, I hate him. He's like a freak, literally using a teenage girl's death to further his political agenda. And the fact that he didn't even believe in anything he was saying, he just knew the right things to rile up the crowd. I really, really didn't like him. He was like the stereotypical conservative weirdo, like the guns, the borders, all that weird stuff. Like, I didn't like him. In the end, I was expecting him, like when Margot confessed everything about killing Abby and like sleeping with Brad and having an abortion. I expected him to support her, but like, whoa, that moment really did like take me back, because with his run for governor, I would expect him to help her cover it up. Like, if he's obvious that there's issues like marital issues, and especially it being Texas, like, they want you to be married, they want you to have kids, they want like the whole thing. It was like a little bit weird to me, but also he's just a piece of shit. Like I don't care about him. But I am interested to see in the next season, like what happens with that, because I feel like he's bid for governor's like dead. Maybe that's why he was so upset, because he realized like everything is gonna come out. But I just thought his reaction was like a little bit like strange. That was like a little bit weird to me. Next, we're going to Callie. Callie, she was weird from the beginning. You could tell she was jealous of Sophie. And in the beginning, I didn't understand why. But then we find out that Callie and Margot had like a lesbian relationship. So it was like, oh, okay, she's just jealous because Margot's now paying attention to Sophie. Because her anger towards Sophie just didn't make sense. She made it seem like, oh, she thinks she's better than us, that liberal girl. And she has all these secrets. She killed somebody, like she had like this moral high ground that I didn't understand where it came from, but it was like, oh, she's just like jealous. And she's also, another conservative weirdo, like with the guns and everything. She was just a jealous loser. To me, it was like she was one of those people who outwardly she seems like a strong woman, but like she's not that. And then we go on to her husband, Sheriff Johnny. He was incompetent. He was again a loser. Like, I think he's very good looking. Let's start there. Very, very good looking man. Also, there was like this one scene that made me so uncomfortable because again, I was watching it with my mom and like she was pegging him. No kink shaming here, you do what you do, but like my mom didn't understand what was happening. And like she pulls out this massive strap on, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I had to explain what pegging was to my mom. And like my mom's like super free and stuff. So it was like just a short uncomfortable conversation, but it was just like it was really funny. And with their dynamic you could see it that Callie was like the strong one in the relationship. Like he very incompetent, very go with the wind. This is this, that is that. Like he doesn't think about things deeply. He doesn't interrogate anything. I don't even know how he became the sheriff. Like his character in itself, again, very stereotypical conservative sheriff man. But yeah, like he was very, very good looking. On to Jill. Ooh, I had many, many conflicted feelings about Jill. Like one scene that stands out to me was when her son Brad was born. It's very clear she's like, one of those extremely conservative Christian women who don't believe you're supposed to like enjoy sex. It's just like, well, I'm just supposed to, have babies and serve my husband, serve the Lord and all of that stuff. And she was having a conversation with the doctor about breastfeeding and how she's never had anybody like touch her there, so she's uncomfortable with that. And that was just so weird because it's like, why are you making it sexual with your baby? Like you're literally feeding your baby. Like it's the better option to breastfeed your child. Like why are you thinking about it in that way? And the fact that she had a sexual reaction to her son breastfeeding, it made me so uncomfortable. I was so deeply uncomfortable, but there were already hints at that because she's like, the stereotypical boy mom. Her son could do no wrong. She gives him everything he wants. She covers everything. Like, even when the murder initially happened, because we didn't know clearly who did it, like, Brad was a suspect and she was trying to cover it and lying for him. She, like, walks in while he's in the shower. She was very clearly jealous of Abby. And it's just like, people like that are so weird because the girlfriend and the mom will never have the same relationship. Like he still loves you, he just loves her in a different way. Like the way she just went about her relationship with her son was just, it was very, very, very uncomfortable. Seeing her try to manipulate Abby's mom with her money and just the people around her, Brad's friend, like it was just clear to see this Christian lifestyle that she's leading. She's just like one of those people who don't really believe in what they're saying. It's like indoctrination. She's not a kind person. I think her husband was actually like a good juxtaposition to her because you could see he actually was like, well, if Brad did it, then he needs to pay for his sins. Whereas like she's trying to hide this. And it's just like, that's not the Christ like thing to do. Like, ooh, but then the twist at the end, Abby's mom comes to confront her and she shoots her. That was so crazy. Like, I didn't expect that to happen. When I saw Star going to her house, I fully expected Star to kill her. But, like, the fact that she killed Star's mom, I felt like that was so tragic. Like, Star already lost her daughter and now she's like dead as well, like fighting for her daughter. And mind you, she was kind of wrong because Jill didn't murder Abby. But also, again, this is where Sophie now comes into it. Going to Abby's mom with this unconfirmed suspicion and the way she's talking about it, like, yes, it's facts. Jill did it, Brad did it, they're hiding it, it's a conspiracy. It's just like, why would you say that to this highly emotional woman who just lost her daughter and feels like the system is against her? Like, oh, I felt so sorry about this relationship. But then Callie kills Jill, and then it's perfect for Margot because now we can blame Jill for everything because Jill was the last person to call Abby. And now it's perfect. Abby's phone is in Jill's house, planted by Margot. Callie saw the whole thing. Her husband's the sheriff, so obviously they're not going to suspect any foul play about it. It was just perfectly played by Margot. Like, even though she didn't expect that Jill had killed Star, the fact that she was quick on her feet to be like, yes, this is now how I get out of it. Just again, going back to just a great villain. Like, she was just so good. But yeah, Jill, weird. Like, super, super weird. On to Brad. He was just like the stereotypical jock loser. I hated how he treated Abby and like the fact that he was like sleeping with Margot, like their whole relationship, like every time they were together, it just made me so uncomfortable. We obviously don't blame him because he's the one being taken advantage of in this situation. He is the child and he's obviously, hormonal. She's taking advantage of him. Like, it's very clearly inappropriate and it's all on Margot's side. But he was also like a piece of shit. Like, it's hard to feel sorry for him. And the fact that at the end he lost his mom who like babied him throughout the entire situation. And then he lost his girlfriend who he thought he loved, but he treated her like shit. So like he didn't. But like I felt a little bit sorry for him at the end. They were like, "Ngakhaulisa ekugcineni." They were like, there was this one scene, like my mom kept saying, he's dead. And it's just like, no, he's just depressed and sad. Like, he lost his mom, he lost his girlfriend. He thinks his mom killed his girlfriend. Yeah, but not much to say about Brad other than, he's just a typical white boy. And I thought he was a loser. Ah, Abby, sweet, sweet, sweet Abby. I felt really sorry for her, because she clearly loved Brad and she was trying her best to be like a good girlfriend. She came from a poor background, she had to work. Her mom was like a single mom. And like you could see a lot of that bled into the way she interacted with people, the way she saw Brad and like how she didn't want to like ruin his life and like how she wanted to please him. She's like the cheerleader. Like she sees Brad as like, the perfect situation. She can date this jock, this rising star, they can have the kids, the wedding, the whole life that she expected. But, she wasn't ready for the fact that, he's sleeping with his mom's friend and she tries to reveal everything and then obviously that's when she got shot. Not only that, but she was being preyed upon by her pastor at her church and she's having these conflicting feelings, with premarital sex being a sin and all of that, but also feeling like pressured from Brad and like wanting to show him that she loves him, like the typical teenage peer pressure stuff. Like I just felt really sad for her, especially the way that she died. Like, I have like a weird thing with like people dying and their bodies being desecrated. I don't think it's weird to feel horrible about that. I just have like a deep sadness when I hear about people's like bodies being mutilated or something happening after their death. I find that to be so horrible. And the fact that she was like eaten by animals, like she was shot in the head, she was shot multiple times. And when you see the scene, it's very graphic. I do not like gratuitous violence. So like this was also especially hard for me. But like seeing her running in the woods and being scared and like, oh my gosh, it was just like, it was just, I just felt like really, really sad for her. And then on to another sad character, Star, who's Abby's mom. Oh, I felt so sorry for her the entire story because you could just tell, like, she also had her insecurities, with being poor and like not being able to give her daughter all the things that she wanted. You could see she didn't like the relationship with Brad, but what are you going to tell your kid, at that stage? They think they know everything and you don't want to alienate them as well, but like, just seeing her struggling with that and then losing her daughter and seeing like everyone was taking advantage of the situation. Like the sheriff's department didn't care to actually investigate it properly. To her, it seemed like they were cozying up to the people who she thought did it. The fact that her friend group, well, not really her friend group, but the other groups of like moms and like the kids and everything, they revere Brad and his family. So nobody's really like taking that seriously. The fact that, the political aspect of it as well, like the wannabe governor taking advantage of the death and making it like a campaign thing, like, and also being her only child, like, yeah, like I felt so sorry for her the entire story. And then the fact that she dies at the hands of Jill, and like Jill didn't even kill, Abby. It wasn't Jill the whole time. Again, I blame Sophie for that. I blame Sophie completely for that because she put a battery in Star's back and it was the wrong information. Like, it wasn't completely incorrect. Jill was the last person to speak to Abby. Jill was hiding things that were happening with Brad, but like, it sucks because also what were they all supposed to do? What was Sophie supposed to do? What was Star supposed to do? Like, they both feel like the police are not listening to them, so they had to take matters into their own hands. But R.I.P. Abby, R.I.P. Star. On to Pastor Pete. I wasn't surprised. Wasn't surprised in the least. I mean, we know the church's history and sexual violence. Wasn't shocked, not one bit. I was shocked though that he's the one who had the missing girl. Like that was like, oh my gosh. I was glad that she was alive because usually in stories like that, the story doesn't really end well, which is also why the police reacted the way they did because usually they're bringing back remains. They're not bringing back a body like an alive person. So I wasn't surprised by his depravity. Also the fact that he had like a weird relationship, like he left weirdly at the previous church and this church didn't investigate that. Like they're all complicit. He's just like a weird freak. His death, oh, that was like super uncomfortable. They do give you a trigger warning in the beginning of the episode, but I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting somebody else to do it. I didn't expect him to like blow his brains out like that and for them to like just show it as well. Like, ooh, it was very, very, very uncomfortable. But like, I don't cry for him. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm not crying for him. Like, one less fucking piece of shit in the world. Like, he deserved to die, but also I didn't want to see that. Moving on to my favorite character in the show, Deputy Wanda Salazar. Like, oh, what a queenie, what a queenie. I literally started paying attention to the show when she got shot. I was so happy that she survived because she literally got shot in the head by Pastor Pete because she was investigating the missing girl's case. And it seemed like she was the only one who was taking it seriously. I was also upset with her a few times. She would go into situations alone, but also I understood like the rest of the police department is like super useless. So like she had to take everything in her own hands. But like I loved her. I loved her. She was smart, she was on it, she was perceptive, and she's like a true pioneer of like justice. Like she actually is in the career field she's in for the right reasons. She wanted justice for the girls. She wanted things to be investigated properly. She actually looked into cases and into leads. Like she didn't just let things be what they are. She even says, the most obvious person is usually the one who did it, but like something was just wrong about it. Like Sophie didn't have any motive to kill Abby. It just didn't make sense. But like I really loved her. I loved how smart she was. I loved how capable she was. And yeah, she was just great. My favorite character in the show. We also had Deputy Walter Flynn, and He wasn't incompetent, but he wasn't willing to go the extra mile like Deputy Wanda Salazar. Like he wasn't as bad as like Sheriff Johnny. Like he was actually doing his job, but he was also just one of those of like, well, it's above me, They said this, so I have to do this. And it's just like he doesn't go the extra mile for the right thing. Like he wasn't willing to put his career on the line for justice, which, I just feel like as a police officer you should do. But we know how corrupt the system is and how like it doesn't foster that type of attitude of like do what's right no matter what. It's kind of like, well, you just do whatever everyone else is doing so that you don't become ostracized or the odd man out. So I don't have a lot of positive things to say about him, but I don't have a lot of negative things to say about him because in the end, he did help the deputy Wanda Salazar at the end, with catching the weird pasta, and also he did try and help Sophie at every turn where he could when she wasn't being like a weird freak and like lying about weird things. But like, yeah, that's that's it. Like, there's no other characters. Like, well, there was like Marco's brother, but like I don't really have much to say about him. Like he was a drug addict, and like we don't want to label people by their worst decisions, but like that's kind of what the story made him out to be. He was just this irrational junkie. I was really upset at the end with like everything that happened with him dying, but like yeah, in conclusion, I really did enjoy the show. um I'm really looking forward to like season two. I want like a lot of the storylines to be tied up. I want to know what happens with the governor's race. I want to know what happens with Margot. I want to know they're obviously going to find the body of Margot's brother because his body is going to float. Like once it starts decomposing and getting like the gases, it floats up. That's why usually when people throw a body in like an ocean or something, they usually weigh it down with stuff. Like it's going to float. Like it was just a messy murder. Like, oh my gosh, I just hate Sophie so much. Like she's so annoying. I want Graham to divorce her. I want to see what their relationship looks like because not only did she bring a gun into their house, not only has she caused such mayhem and confusion, she also cheated on him. Like, leave her, sir. Is there anybody else? I want more about Deputy Wanda Salazar. Like, I want more of her personal story and like what motivated her to even get into the police force? Why is she such, you know, a champion of justice? Like what is behind that? I wanna know. And also anything else? No, that's it. Looking forward to season two. And like, guys, tell me what you felt about the show. Like, did you hate Sophie as much as like my mom and I did, or like are we just being like too hard on her? Like, what do you feel about Margot? What do you think the next season's gonna be? And also, like, don't spoil it for us if you read the book. Like, please, we don't care about what happens in the book. Like, I just want speculations from season one. But yeah, thanks for watching and like listening to my ramblings, and I'll see you in the next one.